You know, when you think about drug cartels, your mind probably jumps straight to the end of the story, right? The massive raids, the dramatic arrests, the downfall of some notorious kingpin. But how does someone even get started on a path like that? It's not like they're posting job openings on LinkedIn. So today, we're going to dive into what that career path actually looks like. Because believe it or not, there's a ladder. A violent, twisted corporate ladder that starts on a street corner and, for a very select few, ends on a throne.
So what does this journey really entail? We're going to break it down level by level. We're going to see how these organizations are structured less like simple street gangs and more like brutal, multinational corporations, with a very clear, albeit deadly, path to the top.
Okay, so every career's got to start somewhere. And in the cartel, that very first rung on the ladder is the lookout, or the Halcon, the hawk. This is the absolute entry-level position. We're talking the lowest of the low. And honestly, the barrier to entry is basically zero.
And this is what gets you in the door. $100 a week. In cash. Now, that might not sound like much to you, but if you're a 15-year-old kid in a town with no other jobs, sitting on a plastic chair and kuliak on, that's real money. It's the first hook, that first little taste of what this life can offer.
So, the job itself? It sounds ridiculously simple. You sit there, you watch the road, and you send a text. You see a military patrol, you text the word bird. You see a rival's black SUV, you text snake. Simple, right? But the risk is absolute. One mistake, you miss one patrol, you get the code wrong, and the consequence isn't a stern talking to from your manager.
And this quote, man, this says everything you need to know about the management style. This was a real threat, whispered to a lookout who messed up. There are no performance improvement plans. There are no second chances. Fear is the only tool for motivation. And from day one, you learn that your life isn't really yours anymore.
All right, so you survive the lookout phase. You prove you can follow simple life or death instructions. What's next? You get a promotion. You graduate to being a transporter. You're not just watching the business anymore. You are now physically moving the product.
And this is where you really see the stakes get raised, on both sides. A single 8-hour drive smuggling drugs across the border can net you $3,000. That could be more than your father makes in a whole year. But you get caught, and the legal system will lock you away for 20 years.
And this really hammers home how the organization sees you at this level. You are not a valued employee. You are a tool, a disposable asset. Your cousin gets busted at a checkpoint and gets 15 years. Too bad. The cartel isn't wasting a single dollar on a lawyer for him. They'll just find a new driver by lunchtime.
Okay, let's say you drive for a couple of years. You prove you're reliable, you don't get caught. Now you're moving up. Welcome to middle management, cartel style. You're now a collector. You're no longer just some anonymous driver. You're the public face of the cartel's power in your neighborhood.
The job description is, well, it's pretty simple and absolutely terrifying. Step 1, they hand you a gun and a list of all the local businesses. Step 2, you go door to door collecting the monthly piso or street tax. And step 3, if someone doesn't pay, you use extreme violence. A restaurant owner is short on cash, you don't offer him a payment plan. No, you come back that night, you destroy his restaurant, and you break his legs to make sure he pays double next month.
And here's the trade-off, right? The money's getting way better, maybe $1,500 a week. You can finally afford some of those symbols of success, like a nice used BMW. But that car, it's basically a giant target painted on your back. Rival cartels see you, they want your territory. The government sees you, they want to make an example out of you. You are completely exposed.
All right, now we're getting into the big leagues, the executive suite. You could be just 25 years old and find yourself as a cell leader, a jefe de sicarios. Now you're in charge. You've got a crew of 10 guys, you control a whole territory, and you are responsible for bringing in some serious cash.
And the pay? Just look at that jump. We're talking up to $100,000 a month. This is the kind of money that changes everything. You've got the big house, the pool, the beautiful girlfriend who maybe thinks you own a successful avocado farm or something. You've officially made it.
But what does the job actually look like day to day? Well, it's pure, managed chaos. About half your time is just logistics, slicing up and distributing the product. But the other half is just mayhem. You're waging a literal war against rival crews for your turf, and you're constantly having to discipline your own guys, who are probably getting high on your supply and drawing all sorts of unwanted attention.
And the pressure from the top, it's just crushing. Your regional boss, he doesn't care about your problems. He just wants his money, and he always wants more of it. If your numbers dip, If you fail to deliver, you don't get fired, you get replaced. And in this business, replacement is permanent.
So we've climbed the ladder, and now we're at the very top, the absolute peak of the pyramid. This is where you find the regional operators, the plaza bosses who run entire cities, and of course, the cartel leader himself. The power and money up here are almost unimaginable. But it comes at a price. You're living in a golden cage.
And this table, it really shows you the crazy paradox of life at the top. As your earnings explode into the millions, your world just shrinks. The regional operator is constantly paranoid, speaking in code, terrified of the DEA. The plaza boss is basically a ghost, living in a fortified compound, bribing governors by phone. And the leader, the big boss, he's making hundreds of millions a year, and he is the most hunted man on the planet.
It really comes down to this. You have everything you could possibly want, and absolutely nothing you actually need. You have all the money in the world, but you can't go to your own daughter's birthday party because it's too much of a security risk. You can't even visit your mother's grave because there might be a sniper waiting. You are a prisoner of your own success.
Because here's the thing. No matter how rich or powerful you get, this career path only has two exits, a coffin or a cage. And for the leaders who manage to survive the shootouts and betrayals, the end is almost always the same. They get caught, they get extradited, and they end up in a Supermax prison. And for the ones who get the cage, this is it. This is the rest of your life. 23 hours a day, you're in solitary confinement. Your world is a concrete bed, a steel door, and that's it. There are no windows, there is no escape. It's a living death.
I mean, can you even imagine the whiplash? One day, you're the head of a multi-billion-dollar global empire. You command armies. You make politicians tremble. The next day, and for every day after that, your entire world is 4 concrete walls.
But, and this is the most important part of the whole story, it doesn't end with him. Capturing a kingpin is a huge victory for law enforcement, for sure. But it does absolutely nothing to stop the organization itself. The king is dead, long live the king.
See, a cartel isn't just one guy. It's a business. It's a massive, resilient corporation built on blood, corruption, and an endless demand for its product. You take out the CEO, guess what? The board of directors just promotes the next guy in line. The business keeps running, the drugs keep flowing, and the money keeps moving. So yeah, the man at the top is gone. He's locked away forever. But the business, the empire, it's still running, just as strong as ever. Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. Who's that new 15-year-old kid on the corner, sitting on a plastic chair, watching the road, just waiting for his shot to climb the ladder?